The minute Paul came to look for a position here, I could tell he just had something that would really work well within our environment.
When we met, we were on a very similar page. I think we maybe referenced the same kind of hairdressers that we both like.
I did try and intimidate him, but it didn't work. So I thought, okay, this is we'll get on. As well as working really close together within the salon environment, you know, the last 12 years has been incredible. We've travelled all around the world together. We've been, you know, to Melbourne, Russia, all through India, Chile, Peru. All through Europe.
Travelling together has caused us to force us to get on in some respects, you know, in some situations that we've been
and learn loads with each other as well.
Yeah, definitely.
After many years of with a different supplier, we decided to move to L'Oreal Professional, and it was actually in sync that Paul joined, and the whole idea was we wanted to create this team of master colorists.
I remember like the first day that I started here was our first day of training. I was aware that everyone was looking at me like I was the new boy, and also had a whole new palette of colour to work with as well. So for those first maybe 6 months to a year was a very strong learning curve with a new brand of product. We were offered the chance to become L'Oreal Colour Specialist. Now this is an intense 12-week course. It was a real baptism of fire, and it was a real in-depth look at how and why we colour hair. And it allowed me as a colourist to fully understand the rules in order to break the rules, isn't it? You know.
I stopped doing colouring within the salon. I didn't get all the information or the expertise, so I relied on Paul to become my expert eye in colour, and I think that's the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
So really within kind of 3 months, we were on stage to thousands of people. I think that was the bit that really kind of started taking us on a different journey. You know, as a business, I think it's really important, especially when you have stylists stroke colorists and they're doing different services, that you are in sync with each other. And one of our key policies within our business, within our environment, is those dual consultations. I mean, lots of different shapes, lots of different tones, lots of colours work completely different on haircuts. And I think that's how we've eventually got into this great relationship where I trust what he does, you know, on my clients, and you know, without the great haircutting thing, he can't do a great colour. He'll say, without a great colour, I can't do a great haircut.
I feel there's a definite difference between the work that we do within the salon and the work that we do creatively. Where we're based in Cardiff, we're known for doing luxurious, expensive-looking, wearable hair. Our creativity comes when we get to go out on the road. We get to work within a photo shoot environment. That's when we really get to push the envelope a little bit more.
I think what happens when we do shows, that's haute couture. And then when we're in the salon, it's runway. But they definitely work together.
We like to base our ideas. They always kind of tend to be not like a mashup, but a feeling of an era, of a decade, or or a genre of music. Or there has to be a backstory to what we do. When you've got that initial seed of an idea, a good way to link that through is to kind of expand it with words sometimes. So sometimes we look at, if for example we could touch this collection or this idea, how would it feel? Like, what would it smell like? If we could eat it, what would it taste like? He's
really great at describing the colour without necessarily telling me the colour, if you get what I mean. And that's great from my point of view. I know where he's going.
The question I get asked most from my clients is, what colour is on trend? Pink has been a colour which is now embedded itself so much into the colour palette of what we do. We have to stock so much of it, whereas some colour trends come and go. I feel there's been a big growth within the copper and the gold palette. We've seen a lot in the last 5 years of the greys, the really ashy tones, and I think people are starting to revolt a little bit from that, and they're wanting to embrace the warmth. I think what people have realised is that warm, or gold, doesn't mean yellow hair. And actually gold is a really nice tone, and it can flatter most skin tones. When you're working within the salon, I think it's really key to give the client something that they cannot recreate at home. So we do a lot of experimentation on a lot of false hair, weft pieces. I like to play with custom formalization. We like to push it and see how far I can go with it. What is it going to do? What's it not going to do? Because I think as hairdressers, we are naturally quite inquisitive and quite creative. And if someone tells us, here's a product that does this, we go, well, I'm going to make it do something else. So I like to know the boundaries of where I can go with those products.
I mean, I always think it's quite interesting that, you know, he comes up with all these concoctions and he's like almost like, you're like the cocktail, what they call you, the cocktail
The mixologist.
The mixologist,
Yeah.
And then once he's mixed it, I'm the one who drinks it. So, and that's when we decide whether it works or not.
Yeah, absolutely.